is it fair to say this offseason was pretty underwhelming? Um, One, I want to say I get the question, right? It's a new regime. You look at all the names in free agency, you look at all these names in the draft, and look, their biggest free agent signings in order were Fields, which I think everyone was excited about and kind of expected, Brandon Stevens, which all of us are still scratching our heads about, and I guess Andre Cisco, you would say third, which we like. It is like exactly the kind of like signing they should have made. The rest of the class was like cheap meat and potatoes, like get our compensatory picks, get a good backup lineman in Myers, get a tight end with some upside and Stone Smart, throw a dart at Tyler Johnson and sign like 17 rotational defensive linemen and hope 3 of them could actually play reps. And, we see where it lands. And we took care of our own and we got Sherwood. And maybe the book's not fully written because we also took care of Garrett and Sauce and sort of reestablished ourselves as a serious organization that pays our young talent. Now, the draft, the parts of the draft that we're all excited about and we're excited about are not sexy. They drafted a tackle. They drafted a good tight end who could play on every down, and we're excited about his ability to block and catch like an 11-yard boot pass every time it's thrown to him and move the chains, and a corner with a ton of upside. You should be excited about a corner with a ton of upside, but it's a corner. I get it. So there's a lot of like vegetables and not a lot of dessert in there. So for the first year of this regime, trying to reset what was ultimately a grotesque failure, an understandable Hail Mary that was just a total disaster from top to bottom. If we would have mapped out the worst case scenario from the moment the Jets traded for Aaron Rodgers, we literally could not have talked it through playing any worse than it did throughout the 2 years. From the injury to going 5-12 to this sort of like messy exit, I think what we've appreciated and why I wouldn't go all the way to say this has been underwhelming. I don't think it's been flashy. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, is that I do feel there is strong potential on the culture and attitude around how this team carries their business changing for the positive. I think how they handled the Rodgers situation was a hard decision, and they handled it like adults, and they've handled it like adults. I think Glenn has the potential, it's not proven, it's nothing but potential, to bring a certain type of culture and attitude and professionalism to the building that it's been lacking. And my hope is that because he played in the league for so long and played here and scouted and coached and comes from Detroit, Woody Johnson will give him the space to do that. And there's been signs, early signs, that they are turning over more of the building than we've seen in the past. The Jets very well may be a 7-10 team next year, but it hopefully is a 7-10 team that looks like they're at the start of being ready to be 10-7 multiple years in a row.